YouTube, what is going on? DA Comics here, coming back at you guys with another comic book pickups. This is, of course, my YouTube series where I show you guys all of the new comic books that I am adding to my collection. These are my pickups over the last couple of weeks, so we have a lot of comic books to get through today. If you did not see it, I uploaded my pickups last week, which was trying to catch up over the past couple of months as I have kind of fallen behind on my pickups videos just a little bit. So go and check that out. That was my pickups from basically the first few weeks since my last pickups, and then these are catching up to current. So these are books from the last few weeks all the way up to books that I picked up today. So we're gonna go through these. These are all new releases, no back issues in today's episode. I've really only been picking up new books, but we have a lot to talk about. Some of these I'm gonna spend less time on than others. I definitely have some thoughts about some of these books, but I'm also going to kind of skim through some of these. But we're going to go ahead and dive in. I'm going to move this stack so it's a little bit easier for me to go through here. And let's talk about some comic books. So, first up, we love it. Not much to say, just a fun comic book. We got Batman.
I'm not sure I understand.
Shh. Siri keeps thinking I'm talking to her. I'm like, I'm not talking to you. Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries, issue number 2. This was a fun issue featuring Poison Ivy. Daphne goes in disguise as Batgirl. It was a really, really fun one. And then came out today was Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries issue number 3. With a little bit of Court of Owls in there. So really love that. I love just the goofy, fun, doesn't take itself too seriously, Batman and Scooby-Doo. I love Batman dancing at the end of this issue. It was really stupid, but it's fun. So good stuff there. Next up, we got Superman Kal-El Returns Special number 1. My store did not have cover A. They sold out of it, so I went ahead and picked up this Batman Spawn variant. So it's Superman and Spawn. I didn't really care to, normally if they sell out of cover A, I try to buy it online because I like to have cover A for my collection. But in this case, I didn't really care that much. This is just a one-shot that I wanted to read so that I was caught up with the Superman story with Action Comics. And honestly, didn't really enjoy it that much. The story was not really doing anything. This whole Kal-El Returns series is really weird. It's just kind of all over the place. There's not really any continuity between the series. So I'm just excited for the next storyline and we can actually get going into some good stories again. But cool cover. Speaking of Kal-El Returns, we have Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue 18. This one came out today. I feel the same way. It was really random. I'm just like, what's going on? Not really sure. So, yeah, don't really care for it that much. Then another issue today, we have Wonder Woman number 794. Really dumb cover. But I did pick up a variant, and this is the Batman Spawn variant featuring Wonder Woman and Spawn. The reason I picked this variant up, let me change the focus a little bit. There we go. The reason I picked this one up, who's the artist here? Jim Chung, who I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, did some of the art on New 52 Justice League. I really like his art style. I thought Wonder Woman looks really cool on this cover, and then you got Spawn in the background. Just thought it was a really cool cover. I've been really getting into variant covers, specifically ever since I've been getting more into DC Comics, because Marvel's variant covers, frankly, suck. And so, as I've been getting into DC, I've really been getting into just finding cool variant covers that I like and picking them up. And so this was basically that. I just thought it was a really cool variant, so I wanted to get it. Moving along, go over there. We got Strange, issue number 8. Continuing the storyline with the return of Stephen Strange as the Harvestman? I don't know. I'm kind of losing track of this series. It's a little bit hard to follow, but I am enjoying it. It's good. It's not quite what I would like it to be. I wish it was a little more serious. I don't love the art style as much, but it's still good. I'm still going to continue picking it up. I'm not quite to the point of dropping it yet. Maybe I'll get there, but next up, not even going to talk about it because it's so garbage. We have The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 14, which is Spinning the Dark Web. And then we have Dark Web number 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 15, which is the Dark Web tie-in. I lied. I am going to talk about it. As you guys know, I am not a big fan of this new Spider-Man run. And this Dark Web event sucks, frankly. I really hate that Marvel does their crossovers clearly with the intent to sell as many books as possible. It was especially prevalent while reading Amazing Spider-Man 15. Dark Web number 1 wasn't too bad. It was just its own story. But as I was reading this, you couldn't go 5 panels without it being like, oh, go buy this book to see what's going to happen there. And it's like, I'm not reading this book to be advertised a bunch of other books. Where's the story at? Let me even show you what I'm talking about. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you guys pick this up, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. But let me find an example. So, opening up the book, page 1. Stuff's happening. Page 2. Okay, we're just kind of getting into the story here. Yada, yada. Then, here we go. So he starts off and he's saying, oh, back when this happened, way back in Inferno. Okay, you're referencing past events. That's fine. Then there's another asterisk here. Don't tell me you missed Dark Web number 1. It's like, okay, I didn't. But anyway, continue the story. All right, next page. Ben appears. And it's referencing back to the last run. That's completely fine. Venom appears and he goes, what's gotten into you? Because we have yet to have any explanation as to why Venom is being classic Venom. He's being, we want to eat your brains Venom. We don't know why that happened. It just kind of did. And so Peter's like, hey, why'd that happen? And they're like, oh, if you want to know, pick up Venom number 14 in 2 weeks. It's like, well, I was going to anyway, but thanks for interrupting my story. And you don't start telling a story and then be like, oh, how did that happen? Well, we don't know. Why don't you buy a comic in 2 weeks and find out? Continuing, Miss Marvel shows up. You're like, oh, cool. Miss Marvel's going to be in this comic. I guess she's going to fight. Oh, no. Ben Reilly teleported away. Find out what'll happen in Dark Web Miss Marvel. It's like, can I just enjoy this comic book? I bought this comic book, and rather than this comic book having a story, it's just advertising and setting up other comic books. And it's very clear what their motive is, and it is to sell as many comic books as possible. And I'm not going to buy it. I will keep buying Amazing Spider-Man. I will keep buying Venom, because those were series that I was already picking up. And as a collector, I want to have every issue of those runs. But I refuse to buy Dark Web Miss Marvel or Dark Web X-Men or all of these other crossovers, because I refuse to reward them for such clear attempts to boost sales at the expense of good storytelling. And I heavily encourage you, please do not buy any of these Dark Web crossovers that you wouldn't have otherwise already bought. Like, if you're already picking up the Amazing Spider-Man series, pick up the Amazing Spider-Man series. If you're already picking up X-Men, pick up X-Men. But do not reward them for segmenting their storytelling and selling you more comic books just to get the full story. This Dark Web series could have been contained in one 6-issue series, Dark Web 1 through 6. But instead, they interrupt all of the runs of all of these series, so people who just want an Amazing Spider-Man series or just want a Venom series can't get that story, because they have to get Dark Web Part 2.3 that advertises Miss Marvel. I don't want any of that. I hate that. I do not want to reward Marvel for that. So I absolutely refuse to pick up any of the Dark Web crossovers that I wasn't going to otherwise pick up. Shame on you, Marvel. You're better than this. It's awful. It's awful. But anyway, moving on to a good Spider-Man book, we have Spider-Man issue number 3. This is the Dan Slott new Spider-Verse run. I'm not loving it. This issue started really strong. I felt like issue 1 was really, really good. And then as we've gotten kind of deeper and deeper into the Spider-Verse lore, I just care less and less. It gets to be a little too gimmicky with all of the different Spider-Man versions. And this new villain just kind of came out of nowhere. So I don't have much to say about it. I'm actually looking forward to the end of this Spider-Verse storyline, because apparently this series is going to continue beyond that. So I'll be interested to see what they do with it then, because I really, really need a good Spider-Man series. But we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Captain America Sentinel of Liberty 7. This is the first part of the new arc in this run. And I really enjoyed this book. I didn't enjoy the end of the last arc. It kind of felt very sudden. But this issue kind of took some time to slow down, get back to Steve's daily life, kind of recover from the events of last issue. And I enjoyed it a lot more because of that. Then we have All Out Avengers number 3. This is the Avengers series written with the intent of being like reading back issues where it starts in the middle of the story and it doesn't really conclude, but it's just kind of there for fun action. This came out many weeks ago, so I'm going to be honest, I don't even really remember the story that much. I know they fight a bunch of life model decoys of Red Skull. This series is a really cool concept. I think it's very bold and experimental to write a series that is a bunch of one-shots, essentially. And I actually really enjoy it. I think it's a fun idea. It's different than anything that any of the other books are doing. I recommend checking it out if that sounds interesting to you. It's definitely worthwhile if you are interested in that kind of format. Next up, we have Midnight Suns number 3. Really cool cover with Kushala. I think I said that name right. The Spirit Rider, which is the only reason I'm picking up this book is for the Spirit Rider. I just really like her character. This book's okay. Yeah, it's not great. A little bit too much Agatha Harkness for my liking. I don't care about Agatha. I'm here for the Spirit Rider, but she's cool. She has her moments. Then we have Gotham City Year 1, issue number 3. I always find it hard to give thoughts on this book because I'm having a hard time following it. Every new issue that comes out, I start reading and I have to kind of remember what happened in the last issue. I think once it's done, I'm probably going to have to go back and read it all in one sitting to really fully grasp the story because there's a lot of moving parts. So I do recommend picking this book up, or if you're really just interested in the story and you don't really care about collecting the actual issues, I would wait till it comes out on trade paperback. Because I do think this is a story that will be better read in its entirety rather than segmented in comic book format. But it's a very, very interesting noir cop story. Moving along, we have Ghost Rider number 9. This may be a contender for cover of the week. That is a beautiful, beautiful cover featuring the new Ghost Rider villain, Exhaust, who's basically a mirror of Ghost Rider, but instead of flames, it's exhaust. Really, really cool. I hope they do more with this character because I think that's a really, really cool and creative villain. I love that this cover has the classic Ghost Rider title and not lately they've been doing Ghost Rider and it's so small and lame. That's a great cover, great look. I do wish there was a little bit more color, but it fits the vibe. I mean, it makes sense. Next up, we got Justice Society of America number 1. I picked this up to try it out. I've never read anything Justice Society before, and I really liked this book. It started off with in the future with, I guess, Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle's daughter, who is the Huntress now, and I thought that was really cool, and I'm interested to see where this book goes. I don't want to spoil too much, and I also don't fully know what's going on, so I need to read a few more issues to really understand what's happening. But I did enjoy that issue. As I was reading it, I was like, wow, this is really cool. I'm excited for the next issue. So we'll keep going. Next up, we got a couple books that I bought old releases. This one I bought purely for the cover. I've been saying I'm into variant covers. This is from a series that I don't even have. It's Batman and Superman World's Finest, number 3. But it's this beautiful variant cover by Lucio Perillo. It's not showing up great on the camera, but it's Superman, Batman, and the Batman Who Laughs on the left. Just an absolutely sick cover. You've got the red eyes in Superman. I think Superman looks awesome. It's a really dark cover. I mean, looking at it here, I can barely see it. But I really like the Batman Who Laughs as a character. I think he's really cool, and this cover is super sick. So very, very happy to have that. I fully bought that just for the cover. Didn't even read it. It's an old issue from a series that I'm not picking up. So then I also got Batman Urban Legends number 20 and 21. I have not actually read these yet, so I can't really give my thoughts on them. But I picked it up because I looked at issue 20, and it had this kind of like fantasy story, and I thought that looked really cool, so I just wanted to pick these up for some reading. Nothing too crazy. I know the Urban Legends series is about to actually end, so I might pick up the last couple issues, but moving along, we have Fantastic Four issue number 1. I did pick this up and talk about this in a past, I think the last episode of Comic Pickups, but I did not have cover A, and so I ordered this online so that I could have cover A for my collection. But what I can talk about is Fantastic Four issue number 2, which came out today or last week. And this series is shaping up to be really, really good. I mean, I talked about it with the first issue. I really enjoyed it, just as kind of a standalone story. And it seems like that's how they're starting this run off. They did a standalone story with Ben and Alicia. Then they did a standalone story with Reed and Sue. Next issue is supposed to be with Human Torch. And then I assume around about the issue 4, issue 5 mark, they'll all be coming back together to continue the story as a group. And I said it when I talked about issue 1 that this series really seemed like there was a lot of passion coming into it. At the end of issue 1, there was a letter from the writer basically being like, hey, I love the Fantastic Four. I really want to do right by them. And that's what this series is. And I said it reminded me a lot of Immortal Hulk, because when Immortal Hulk was made, there was very clearly passion and love behind the character coming from the creative team. And this series really seems like it's shaping up to be of that caliber of a comic book series. So if you really loved Immortal Hulk, you thought it captured the Hulk as a character really well, that is what this series seems to be doing for the Fantastic Four. I think it captures the characters really, really well. These first couple issues have really scaled back the scale of the story. You know, the past Fantastic Four run was very large, a lot of characters, a lot of things going on, and as someone who's a little bit out of date with the Fantastic Four lore, it was a little overwhelming. Whereas this really just scaled it down to, here is a story about Reed and Sue, and it was really, really good. I don't want to spoil anything about this comic book. You should go and read it yourself. It's kind of the nature of the story. It's kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling it, so I kind of have to skim over it. But it was really good. I highly recommend you read it yourself. These Alex Ross, I think they're Alex Ross covers. I hope I'm not wrong about that, but they look like Alex Ross covers. Are really good, and that basically has become a really good telltale sign of when a series is going to be good. If Alex Ross is doing the covers, it's going to be good. He did the Immortal Hulk covers. He's doing these covers. The only exception to that rule is when he did the covers for Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4. Not the best run. But I'm very excited for the future of this series, and I'm very excited to pick up them as they come out. Moving along, gotta grab stack number 2. Next up, we got another new series. This issue came out today. This is the Invincible Iron Man #1, Legacy 651. I have not been picking up Iron Man's last series or even the series before that. I think the last time I picked up Iron Man was Brian Michael Bendis' run, where he introduced Riri. And that was a few years ago, so I haven't really picked up Iron Man since, but I really loved that run. And I've been checking out the Iron Man comics. Oh, that's a lie. I picked up Dan Slott's Iron Man run as well. But after I dropped Iron Man, I kept always keeping an eye out to see if it ever interested me again. And when I saw they were starting a new series written by Gary Duggan, I saw the aesthetic of it, the title of it. I thought it looked really, really cool. So I thought, you know what, now's a good time to start picking up Iron Man. It's a good jumping on point, you know, that issue #1. Let's see how it goes. And I really, really enjoyed this book. I thought it was very good. It's really setting up... You know I love my conspiracy storylines, just like Captain America's having his right now. This is really kind of setting up a conspiracy. There's obviously some mastermind villain pulling some strings, trying to hurt Tony Stark's image, and also hurt him physically. And it's really, really good. I'm very excited for the next issue. I definitely am going to be picking this series up, at least for a little while. I've never been a huge Iron Man fan, but I do enjoy his comics from time to time, and this is definitely one of them. So go and pick it up. If you are an Iron Man fan, this is a great jumping on point. I did not feel lost at all. It did a great job of catching me up to what is going on in the world of Iron Man, and then continuing with a new story. A great #1. Definitely go and pick it up. Over there. Then we got Action Comics 1049. Again, this is Kal-El Returns. I've already pretty much given my thoughts on that. I did get a variant. This is the 90s Rewind variant, which is, of course, hilarious. We got Superman with his long hair, blow drying it. I love the colors on this cover. It's not showing up great in this lighting, but the text is actually a very bright pink. It looks a little bit more darker in this lighting. But really cool variant cover. As I said, I've been really into variants lately. Then I got Detective Comics issue 1066. This is continuing the Gotham Nocturne storyline, which it seems like that's going to be a really long storyline. The whole first arc of this run was Gotham Nocturne Overture. Now this is Gotham Nocturne Act 1. So presumably they're going to have an Act 2 and an Act 3 and whatever. So it seems like this Gotham Nocturne storyline with the Asmer family. Is that Asmer? No, the Urgum family. Asmer something else. With the Urgum family, they're really setting up for a long haul storyline, which I think is really, really cool. I would love to see Ram V and this series tackle something like this for the Court of Owls. I know the Court of Owls isn't really around anymore, but I do love the kind of long conspiracy where it allows for a lot of intricate twists and turns and things like that. This series is great. It's not too late to pick it up. Go back and pick up starting from the beginning of Ram V's run. It's really, really good. You're not going to want to miss it. I think this is going to be one that's going to be remembered, much like the Court of Owls. So definitely worth a pickup. I also got the 90s Rewind variant for that issue. It is right here. Really, really cool cover. Again, love the pink. We got Breaking the Bat cover swipe. Really, really cool. And then they came out with Detective Comics 2022 Annual. I do appreciate... I generally don't like annuals. Just as a collector, they kind of piss me off because they're hard to organize. But I hate when they do, like, annual number 1, annual number 2, and then they reset and it's annual number 1. I do appreciate that they just called this one 2022 Annual. It's very easy at a glance to be like, oh, this is the annual from 2022. Cool. Now, generally, I don't very much care for the stories within annuals, but this one was actually kind of cool. It featured, like, a early colonial Batman type story, and I enjoyed it. So, not much to say, but it was cool. Next up, this is a pretty big book, a highly anticipated book, came out today. Batman Spawn. This has been hyped up for a while now. I've been very excited for it. As you guys know, I am casually interested in Spawn. I don't know much about his lore. I haven't read many of his comic books, but I've been wanting to get into him. I've been trying to pick up Spawn back issues and read from the beginning. But this was a definitely highly anticipated comic book. The crossover between DC and Image, Batman and Spawn. Really, really cool book. Story-wise, it was okay. Written by Todd McFarlane, which is really cool. And then pencils by Greg Capullo. Excellent artist, incredible artist. Obviously very famous in the Batman world. And he got the chance to draw New 52 Joker and the Court of Owls and all of that all over again. So, love that. But the story, I was a little confused. It seemed like there was prior knowledge that I needed to know, and that knowledge is probably from the Spawn universe, so that might be the case, but I just think it was cool. I enjoyed it. I did get a couple variant covers because I just couldn't resist. This book had a lot of awesome variant covers. This first one is a Jason Fabok, I don't know how to say his name, Fabok variant. He is always great at drawing rain. I think this is the artist who did the Batman Eternal issue 1 cover, and that's very clear here. It looks a lot the same. You got Spawn in the back, Batman up front. Really, really beautiful cover. And then I also got this variant, which is really, really cool. It is a Greg Capullo / Todd McFarlane glow-in-the-dark variant. So all of this green glows in the dark. I would demonstrate, but I don't think I really can. It's not quite dark enough here. But really, really, really cool cover. And I love, obviously, Greg Capullo and Todd McFarlane. Legendary team. And the fact that it's glow-in-the-dark is really cool. It reminds me of the old Ghost Rider glow-in-the-dark cover. So very, very happy to have that issue. Continuing on, we got Thanos Death Notes. They did not have cover A at my comic store, but they did have this cover, and honestly, I prefer this cover. I think this is a really cool cover. It's kind of like a movie poster vibe with Thanos and Death here. I'm not going to bother picking up cover A because I don't really care about it from a collector standpoint. The main reason I wanted this book was just to read it. It's really setting up what the Thor run has been building up to, which is seemingly some big event with Thanos as the big bad again. Getting a new Infinity Stone, the Black Infinity Stone, And then, as the Vision shows, Mjolnir with all the other Infinity Stones in it. So these stories were really, really cool. I love Thanos as a character, and I've always really loved Thanos's the personification of death, which they did not do in the movies. I wish they had. I think it would have made his character a lot more interesting. But I love to see that in this comic book. I'm glad they're not ditching that like they have a lot of other things in the comics to make them more accurate to the movies. But sorry, my throat was getting a little dry. Okay. And then continuing from that, we have Thor, issue number 29. This is Legacy of Thanos Part 1. So this is kind of continuing straight out of the events of Thanos' Death Note. And further setting up this Thanos plotline with Thor. What is a little weird to me is this issue is not written by Donny Cates. I don't know where he went. I hope he comes back, because I really like his writing. And that was the main reason I was enjoying this Thor run so much, was Donny Cates' writing. So hopefully he'll be back. Hopefully he's not gone for good. But this was good nonetheless. I still enjoyed it. But that was definitely a missing presence. I missed Donny Cates. Moving along, we got Batman and the Joker, The Deadly Duo, Book 2. If you're not picking this book up, what are you doing? Batman fans are really eating right now. I mean, we are getting a lot of good comic books. The main Batman run, which we'll talk about in a second, the Detective Comics Gotham Nocturne run is amazing. Batman and Joker, The Deadly Duo, written and drawn by Mark Silvestri. Awesome comic book. Excuse me. Batman Spawn, all of it is great, and you should read it. That's all I can really say. It's awesome. You'll love to see it. And as I mentioned, Batman fans are having a good time right now. Batman issue 130, the finale of the Failsafe arc. I can't really talk about this without spoiling it. It did come out a couple weeks ago. All I can say about this book is, oh my gosh, go get it. Get every issue in this run so far. Chip Zdarsky is doing an incredible job on this series. I am loving it. You know a comic book is good when I'm going to my friends who don't necessarily read comics, but are Batman fans, and I'm going like, oh my god, this new Batman series. So basically there's this failsafe that Bruce made to, and I'm telling them all about it, and like, I'm just so excited about it because it's so good. I genuinely can't wait for the next issue. I think this might be one of my favorite comic books coming out right now, which is very rare that that's happening. Normally the books that I'm looking forward to are like Spider-Man and related stuff, but lately it's been Batman, Detective Comics. I see one of those is coming out and I get excited. So very, very good. Very good. Now, I said I needed a good Spider-Man series, and I think I may finally have it with the new run of Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is a variant. My store was sold out of cover A, so I ordered that online, and that is right here. So I got this variant. I don't really care about it. It's not that good of a cover. Just shows some of his side characters, but it was my favorite one that they had. I just wanted to read the book. And then I got cover A in the mail later that week. And this book was so good. It's written by Cody Ziglar, who's a name you may recognize from Spider-Man Beyond, and I do remember at the time I enjoyed his issues of Amazing Spider-Man Beyond, so I kind of had a good association with his name when I saw that he was writing this series. And as you guys know, I did not enjoy the last run of Miles Morales. Saladin Ahmed is not a writer that I very much care for his style, and so I did drop this book a while ago, and I said at the time, you could probably go back, I don't remember which pickups episode it was, but you could go back. I said that I am waiting for the day they reboot the series and restart at issue number 1, and then I will pick it up with a new creative team. And that is exactly what they did. They restarted with issue number 1, Legacy 283, with a new creative team. I was immediately going to pick it up, and I loved it. It was so good. I love Miles Morales as a character. There's been a lot of discussion online lately on whether Miles Morales is Spider-Man, and I say, yes, he is, and it's dumb if you get mad at that. It's really dumb. Like, Peter Parker is still around. He is still Spider-Man. No one is trying to get rid of Peter Parker. We all love Peter Parker. Obviously, Peter Parker is my favorite fictional character of all time, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy Miles Morales as a character. And there are a lot of people who go, well, Miles Morales isn't an original character. He's just, piggybacking off Peter Parker. You haven't been paying attention then. Go and play the Miles Morales Spider-Man video game. Go and watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. He is his own character. He has his own unique powers as well as spider powers. And they've really developed his character a lot between the movies, between the video game, between these comic book runs. He has his whole own cast of characters, side characters, his parents, his girlfriend Starling, Gank, or Genki, however you say that. He's a really cool character. I really enjoy his dynamic. I think it's fun to have a young Spider-Man who is still in school because it allows Peter Parker to grow. It allows Peter Parker to be an adult and off working, but we can still get the teenage Spider-Man struggling to keep up with his homework while being Spider-Man. It really captures the OG Spider-Man vibes, but it makes it new with a new character that better represents our world today. And I fully loved this book. I cannot wait for the next issue, and I really hope it continues being as good as it is, because I need this. I need a good Spider-Man series in my life, and I think this was the perfect time for them to do this because everyone is not enjoying The Amazing Spider-Man right now. So for my fellow Spider-Man fans out there, if you dropped The Amazing Spider-Man, I haven't dropped it. I need to pick it up as a collector. But if you dropped Amazing Spider-Man, I totally understand. This is where we can all go. All right? If you're leaving The Amazing Spider-Man, come on over here. This is the safe haven for us Spider-Man fans. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. It really feels like classic Spider-Man as we know him and love him. So please, please, please go pick this up. Show Marvel what we like. Go pick this up. Sales speaks louder than words when it comes to companies like Marvel. So, great book. And the last book I have here, also a great book. We have Vanish number 3. I have this variant because my store was sold out of cover A, so I just went ahead and picked this one up. I don't even really like this cover that much. And then, of course, I had to order this online. Cover A here. Loving Vanish. Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman. What more do I need to say? I have my Donny Cates shrine here up on the wall. Obviously got the Vanish 1 CG Seeds, so I'm loving it. It's really, really good. It came out so long ago, I'm having a hard time remembering fully what happened so I can talk about it. All I know is it's really, really good, and I'm really looking forward to the next issue. Go and pick up Vanish. Go support my man Donny Cates. Go and support Ryan Stegman. They're doing great work over there at Image. But that is going to do it for my video today. Pickup of the week would definitely have to be Miles Morales number 1. That just really made me happy that I enjoyed that issue as much as I did. And yeah, so that's going to do it for me here. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me to get some feedback there. Of course, comment down below. I read every single comment. So if you have any thoughts, any opinions, whether you agree with something I said, you disagree with something I said, I'd love to see some discussion in the comments about any of these books I talked about today. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. I try to do these every single week. Obviously, sometimes I miss a week. Sometimes I fall behind by a month. But I'm trying my best to stay up to date now that I'm caught up. So there should be another pickup next week talking about all the books that I pick up coming out next week. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.